And now, our favorite part of the show, the choices of the voices.
Once again, thank you to the wonderful and ever so lovely Miss Button for introducing our favorite portion of the show. You heard the woman. We've done this 170,000 plus times. Well, actually, 107 plus times. This is your favorite section along with ours, the choices of the voices segment, where we ask the question, y'all give us some answers, we talk about it, we tell you our answers, we kind of go back and forth and pick at each other. If you get a wrong answer, we put you in the penalty box, but understand, it's all love and it comes from the heart. That's if you can see that. But anyways, that's neither here nor there. All right, Scotty, time for enough of my incoherent ramblingness. What's on tap for this week's choices of the voices?
Well, I was mistaken last week. I called the movie The Mortal Kombat. It's not. I said some things that were incorrect last week. The movie's Mortal Kombat. Anyway, it was the latest Jane Curtin movie. Anyway, that was the one that it came from the video game. So we got on the topic of video games, and that's where we were at. What is your favorite all-time sports video game? That's where we're at. And guys, I got to be honest, I've never been a big gamer, so you're gonna have to help carry me through this segment because we had a lot of answers, a lot of good ones. We're all over the place. Eddie Cole, what did we get through this week's choices of the voices?
Oh, we got a gang of answers on this week's choices of the voices and some good ones because I remember a lot of these games. All right, Aiden Collar, he says, I have to go with ESPN NFL 2K5 on this one. In my opinion, it was revolutionary for its time. Nowadays, you see Man 21 and the NBA games, but 2K5 was one of the greatest of all times. The year it was released, and definitely helped pave the way for modern sports games today. So we got one for ESPN NFL 2K5.
I think I briefly remember that one. I think because ESPN at the time, I think they was. I mean, they've always been the worldwide leader in sports and blah blah blah. And you know how much we really do not endorse that four-letter network. But this was where they were trying to tap into the video game scene, and it was interesting at best. Because at the time they had quite a few football games out there. I mean, your Madden franchise, of course, and everything. But I think if I remember correctly, that year ESPN, it was actually pretty good. There was a couple features that they brought into the game that actually Madden picked up on, and of course they were like, "What? You know what? We're gonna try that too." And then they threw in the commentary and stuff like that from ESPN. So it was actually a pretty good game. So I like this answer. Definitely like this answer.
Yeah, I have a story about that one later on. All right. The Magic Man, Mike McCrowski, he said 10-yard fight and Ken Griffey Jr., Major League Baseball. I remember 10-yard fight for Nintendo and the Ken Griffey Jr. Major League Baseball for Super Nintendo.
Okay, because somebody help me out. What is a 10-yard fight?
10-yard fight, it's a Nintendo version of a football game. I don't think they had rights to call it like, NFL football. I guess it's just, first to 10 yards and a touchdown, a regular football game. a whole lot of running, pixelations, and dots in the air.
It looks like an upgrade from the little handheld one. Remember the one that had just the dots that you could go up and back? There was no passing. Yep. Was that Mattel? I forget which one that was, but it was white and you could not pass. You could only go up and back. You couldn't go backwards. It's a running back.
Oh my God, that's a throw. Oh my God,
I had that.
Throwback.
Yeah, I knew you talking about the handheld game. I had like a pitfall version of that one. I used to get mad and throw it. I would never win.
10-yard fight was released in 1983.
Woo! Back in my era. Surprised I didn't play this one.
That's why I did not know what that game was, because I was 1 year old. Good Lord. Wow.
Good old 10-yard fight. All right. Sean Connors said RBI baseball. He said thousands of hours on that diamond. Yep. RBI baseball, another classic. Corey Logren, he said Tecmo Bowl.
Oh, yes, sir.
I heard of that one.
Yes.
I heard of that one.
And everybody played with Bo Jackson.
Yeah, Bo Jackson. I remember Barry Sanders was really fast on that.
Yeah.
Those guys were unstoppable on that game. All right, so here we go. We got Mike Davis. He says NBA 2K or bass fishing on Dreamcast.
Who plays a fishing video game?
Scotty,
But actually, it's actually not that bad though. I've actually done it. It wasn't on Dreamcast, but it's actually pretty cool. But yeah,
I hate fishing in real life. I'd probably rather play a video game.
Okay, I'm gonna
Fishing sucks. Going fishing sucks.
I'm gonna ask Scotty D this question. This is a question for you. Do you consider fishing a sport?
Nah.
So I knew I had a feeling he was gonna be jaded with that question.
Hey,
No.
you better hope Bill Dance don't come for you behind. You better be talking
man.
about me fishing. Boy, I go fishing. Ew, I hunt fish. All right, so moving right along, we got Rodney. What's going on, Rodney? Rodney said, "Ooh, man," he gave us a list. He said, "Great question. I had to make a small list." All right, he said, "Old school, Tecmo Bowl. Be Live, you'll like this one. WCW versus NWO Revenge for Nintendo 64. With 4 controllers and a room full of buddies. Always a good time. The modern era, we got college football games. You know, they ain't no telling which one. They're all were pretty good, if you ask me. And he said he's hyped that they're bringing it back. NFL Street was really good, and the old Tiger Wood games with 4 players was good as well too. So he gave us Tecmo Bowl, WCW NWO Revenge, the college football series, the NCAA college football series, and NFL Street and the old Tiger Woods games. He gave us a list. All of them good choices. Great choices, Bobby.
And just to clarify, when he was talking about college football, he's talking about EA Sports. It's in the game. And NCAA college football, that video game is legit. And when I tell you that this whole name, likeness, and image thing, oh my goodness, it took away the greatest video game, especially football video game. I 100% agree with Hot Rod with this, with NCAA college football. And I had to clarify that. And Tiger Woods, Sunday Tiger with the red polo.
Yes, sir.
All stats 105. Oh yeah. Oh my goodness. And I didn't play with Sunday Tiger for that very reason, because I felt like we were cheating. You were cheating playing with Sunday Tiger. Come on. 105 everything. Come on now. Tiger Woods, you good. You good. You really, really good. That's borderline narcissism when you just when all the stats are 105 and nobody else can have stats above 100. Oh my goodness. But yeah, good answers from Hot Rod.
All right, we got Matty Ice Martin Tracy. He says NBA Jam. Who don't love that? I'm on fire mode. He's heating up.
He's on fire.
Boom, shakalaka. Please don't sue us. Please don't sue us. We just had some real nostalgic moments there, man. Yeah, man. NBA Jam was just that. The damn jam. You can't argue with that, man.
Jumping from half court and dunking the ball after 15 flips.
Who picked this one?
Matty Ice.
Oh, Matty Ice. Okay.
Yeah, Matty Ice picked that one, man. Good old NBA Jam, man. You cannot go wrong with NBA Jam. The Hall of Famer himself, Uncle Max, he says Super Tecmo Bowl. Yes, Super Tecmo Bowl, another classic. And if you had Bo Jackson still, you would get ran the hell over as well, too. All right. We got Frank Glidden. He said Double Dribble and Skate or Die. It was a tie. Yeah, man. Those are 2 iconic classics for Nintendo, man. Double Dribble and Skate or Die. Yep, love that one. Love that one.
I'll ask Scotty D. Is skating a sport?
It's closer than fishing is. I would say yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I would say yes.
Skateboarding, yeah, I'll give that.
All right, so fishing, no. Skateboarding, yes. Heard. Holla at your boy. All right, the big boss man, Bruce Diamond, says track and field for the old Nintendo Entertainment System.
I told him no because he's been watching soccer lately, and I said you have to pick a FIFA game, but track and field, is that when you had you had to hit the thing to make your guy run faster?
Yeah.
If I'm not mistaken,
tearing your whole fingers up.
Yeah.
mama,
I
give us
do.
some
I
ice.
do remember that one. I do remember that one. Yeah.
You having a crab all in your hand, throwing up gang signs after playing.
Hey, you remember the power pad that they had that you could plug into it and you would run like that? Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah, I would say this, man. Nintendo had a lot of accessories, man, between the pad, the zapper, the glove, all that stuff, man. Nintendo just had all kind of accessories. Always.
They still do.
Yeah.
with the Wii, they got all kinds of things going on. Nintendo's still doing it.
Still doing it 11 years later. Terrible. Pete Talansky says NHL 94. Jeremy Roenick was unstoppable. And he gave us a link to check out the unstoppable one that is Jeremy Roenick, who's from Massachusetts, by the way. Yes, American hockey player.
Bob Williams echoed this answer, and he said that was the last year with the head wounds. Now, I remember watching was it Swingers, the movie with Vince Vaughn, where they go to Vegas and they're sitting in the living room, they're playing, and they made Gretzky's head bleed. Is that this game? Is that what we're talking about here?
I think so. I think so because I think NHL 94 had fighting because I remember playing NHL 95 and there was no fighting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, then maybe it was a new regime. Maybe they went from the Attitude Era to the PG era on NHL 94 to 95. But I remember that specifically in that video or in the movie Swingers, where the guys are sitting around they're waiting for pizza to be delivered and they're smoking weed playing a hockey game. And I remember he's like, I'm going to make Gretzky bleed. And you can see the blood come out of his head. I think that's what that was.
Yeah. And
I'm not an expert, so
Google has confirmed that yes, that was NHL 94 that was played in that movie.
Okay, cool. All right. That's what I was wondering. Nice.
NHL
Good
94.
Thumbs up to our research team there.
Yeah. Shout out to the research team. Yeah, man. I bet he had a Bob Probert and he was like, bust your head, Gretzky. Holla at your boy. Joel Turner, another one for RBI baseball, and the basic Nintendo golf. He said where 58 was just a good round. Yeah, trying to hit a little white speck of pretzel salt. Yeah, have fun with that. But it was a good game though. Yeah, as you said, Scotty D, Bob Williams. He also said NHL 94 where you can be a head buster for real. Damon Benko, he said double dribble as well too. So we got another one for double dribble. Sean Massengill, what's up, Big Slam? He said WCW NWO on Nintendo 64. So we got two for the wrestling games. I'm telling you, man, THQ used to make some hell of fine WWE games and WCW games in the back in the day, which means they're pretty much like this thing about you had two rival companies, but they consulted their resources all to one company to make different video games, but look the same. The only thing that was different was the movesets and the likenesses. So yeah, I mean, some of you guys might remember Aki Man or AKI Man, the random ass creative player who looked like Servo from Superhuman Samurai Cyber Squad, but I digress. In the words of the Almighty Be Live. All right, here we go. We got Trey Dizzle. Save the best for last. Oh yeah, you know how we do it. He said this is a really tough one. NFL Blitz was super fun. NBA Jam, NFL 2K, Madden is the staple. Then you got Tecmo Bowl. Game Day Football for PlayStation 1 was really fun. Ken Griffey Baseball. NBA 2K, the Nintendo hockey game with the skinny, medium, and fat guy was classic. And Joe Montana football on Sega was great too. But I have to say, out of all those great games, Dak Prescott sucks.
Oh my God. Oh, I almost want to guest appearance. I almost want to guest appearance on the show for him just to take the moment. I want him just to come on the show one day and just take a moment and let all of our listeners know how much he dislikes Dak Prescott. I would love that. Just saying.
You never know.
When we start getting into NFL preseason time, we may have to look into that. Trey, you're on our guest list, buddy.
Trey Dizzle, stay ready, baby. That way you ain't got to get ready because we're coming for you real soon. I think you might have to compile a top 10 list of why you dislike Dak Prescott. So we got a fully loaded edition of the choices of the voices. With that being said,
there's one other one on there that I actually really liked. Craig Burns.
Oh,
Craig Burns
yes.
went with Pong.
Yes.
So wait a minute.
That was in
hold
my
on.
wheelhouse. Pong was in my wheelhouse.
Oh, so ho, stop, cut, quit it. As much as you talk about stuff that isn't sports, we've talked about bowling, we've talked about fishing, talked about skateboard. Pong? That's a sport. No, you do not. You are not allowed.
This video game set the table for these others to come through.
Oh my Lord, man, you is something.
You just had to turn the dial up and down, and block the little ball from coming. I mean, that was in my wheelhouse. When you started getting into, you had like the triangles on one of those systems, the square and the triangle and a circle, and more buttons on top. Man, how you keep track of all that? I just couldn't do it.
Shit, when I tell you none of us can, I'll be watching some of these video game competitions, especially the fighting video games like Street Fighter or whatever, where they actually have a full on like arcade pad and everything, and I'm just like, yo, y'all doing the most. But I mean these video game competitions pay top dollar. Like, it's ridiculous how much money people make playing video games. But yeah, when it comes to what I think when it comes to video games, I am going to agree with Trey Dizzle, because I was waiting on somebody to give this answer. And it's NFL Blitz.
Ooh.
God, when I tell you, like, just no, it was like no rules, no penalties. You just bust somebody's head open. And it was just one of those games. Like, it was just like, I'm going to, after this show, I'm going to find a way to download it to my PS4, and my PS4 is collecting dust right now because I have not played it at all. But now I really want to play it again, because I didn't even, like, when this question came up, I'm like, man, you know what? I have not even played a video game in forever. And I'm going to say this on the air, and this is me digressing a little bit. Why can I not find Oregon Trail to play? I want to play Oregon Trail, and I've been looking for years, and I get like nobody's remade it or anything. Like, I would have figured somebody would have remade this game.
It's not out there anywhere, really? That's surprising.
There's this new Fandango like app, is Oregon Trail, some other somewhere, like you're building houses and other. I don't care for all of that. No, I want somebody to die from dysentery. That's what I want. I want to shoot 20 buffalo and only can carry 200 pounds of meat back. That's what I want to do. Can I do that, please? Can somebody? Well, you know what? I got enough technical savvy. No, I don't. I can't create video games. I can study it, figure it out. But you know what? Yeah, but I digress. But yeah, NFL Blitz, and I'm gonna throw a little 1B, and just actually shout out to Sean and Hot Rod back in North Myrtle Beach, and it made me upset when they got rid of the game. But the Tiger Woods arcade game, not the video. I'm talking about the arcade game with the trackball that I didn't stumble, I didn't stub my finger, broke fingers and wrists, trying to freaking be in there drunk, trying to hit the ball as hard as I can, and we just haven't. We're betting dollars on longest drive and this and that. But yeah, Tiger Woods, and now they replaced it with Golden Tee, and then I don't know if Golden Tee is still a thing. I haven't seen it in a while.
Golden Tee is the greatest video game sports of all time. And that's my answer. And all these North Myrtle Beach people, nobody picked that. And you know, I used to see all these dudes at bars in the early 2000s, and everybody was over there taking turns, flicking the ball with thumbs or pounding it as far as you can and pulling back a 3 that way, hitting driver onto the green with a backspin.
Oh yeah, it was It was some serious business, man.
It is the greatest game ever. It's the greatest sports game, and nobody.
Nobody.
They are wrong. All these games are wrong. Golden Tee is the correct answer to this question.
Oh man, that was because that's what I was going to mention that because nobody mentioned the arcade game, and
that is the greatest. That is greatest.
I like Tiger Woods more than I like Golden Tee because I felt like Tiger Woods was more realistic. But yeah, just like you said, Scotty D, that was a thing. There was
everybody was playing it. Everybody.
It was.
And if you couldn't get in, you couldn't wait for 20 minutes to be up, so you get another shot at it.
Right.
So somebody else would be too drunk and have to leave, and you get your chance.
It's my turn. Hold my breath. I done seen plenty of nights people toe blasted. I wonder how many. You know what? I've never seen a cabinet video game console take so much abuse. Almost got you live. I'm sorry. I've never seen a cabinet take so much abuse. I mean, like,
whoo, you almost got me. Oh, I almost spit all over the camera and my mic. Oh, yes. You ain't never, ever lied about that.
And sometimes I'll be standing there like, is that serious? That's it. Oh, and I wonder if the fiberglass on the damn screen was thick, because it would be like, jarring, stuff falling. It would be just catastrophic. And I'm like, man, I wonder what's the insurance policy on this doggone thing, man, because that screen is taking a lot of abuse.
Yeah,
man. When I tell you that I also back in those days, I used to bowl a lot too. And there was a couple of times because I was in there just going ham on it and freaking sprain my wrist and freaking stub my finger. Next thing you know, I'm out of a week of bowling because I got the going on.
You remember there's actually a bowling game that was the same as the Silver Strike. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah,
Wasn't that called Silver Strike? Yeah.
Yeah. Screw that game. Anyway, dude, I hated that game. I hated it so bad because
that game was hot for a while.
Because I'm a bowler. I'm not playing. I never liked playing bowling video games because I was an actual bowler. So I bowl better in real life than I do on that video game. Let me put it that way. If that shows you how I feel about Silver Strike. But yeah, Scotty D, you hit the nail on the head, and I was alluding to it. But yeah, how
Golden Tee was the best. I loved it. I think it's still going strong. I mean, I haven't been to a drinking establishment since well before COVID, but I think it's still because they kept updating it, putting out newer and harder courses every year, and ridiculous things where you could do with the golf ball. It was awesome. Loved it.
I'm sorry, but that was the reason why I like Tiger Woods more. Because it was real. It was
more reality based. Yeah.
It was a real golf course. You played Sawgrass. You played 17 at Sawgrass on that game. So that was the reason why.
I used to have a game, and I don't remember what gaming. I think it was Sega Genesis. I may have had at one point where they had a Pebble Beach golf, and the thing would fill like halfway through, and you'd have to try to stop it in the middle and to make your putts or your swing. And if you missed it wrong, the ball would slice, that kind of thing. Yeah. I didn't like playing golf with the hand control, but I sure did like pulling that ball back and letting it sail. How about you, Eddie? Cool.
I have a list as well too, because as soon as I saw this, I was like, wow. Fellas, you know what caught me off guard? No one mentioned the Mike Tyson punch out.
No, and I had that pictured on our page too. Nobody did say that one.
Well, with that being said, I liked Mike Tyson punch out, but my game was Fight Night. Was the EA Sports Fight Night where they had everybody, and it was just of course I created me a fight, and I was just blowing through everybody. I won like hands of stone like 5 years in a row. I was just in it just Berlanger and people just a half a round, that would be it. The Fight Night series of games, it was pretty dope too. The one that had Roy Jones Jr. on the front cover. The soundtrack was also great as well too. I will also have to say ESPN NFL 2K5. The story that I was alluding to, there was one night back in 2004, myself, the Almighty B Live, and our big brother JR, shout out to JR, we were at Buffalo Wild Wings right in North Myrtle Beach. Now, if you know how the area is designed, you have the Buffalo Wild Wings right here in that plaza, the Chick-fil-A, everything else, and then the Walmart way over there. So I guess me and, brother JR, we were kind of on a drunken stupor. It was a slow night, and I was like, and we saw his commercial with Terrell Owens and the football game, and I saw the price. The price said $19.95, and I went from this to $19.95. It's a JR. We got to go get that game. So I think all three of us stumbled our way to Walmart, purchased the game, and I think I stayed up until like 4 o'clock playing the game. Because I'm not gonna lie, I used to get destroyed in Madden, but I kind of had to even the playing field when it came to the football games. Growing up, I was also a fan of hockey, so I would have to say ESPN National Hockey Night and also NHL 95, the year where you couldn't bust Wayne Gretzky's head to the white meat. Yeah, both those hockey games were fun as well too. Also, WWE No Mercy. Yeah, it was just a great game. One of my favorite parts was you would play as Too Cool, and they would do the whole dance routine and all that, and it was great as well too. Me and my niece love playing that. Shout out to my niece. And the NBA and NFL versions of the streets, like NFL Street and NBA Street. Wow, those games were ahead of their times. I've owned Street 1 and Street 2. And still to this day on Street 1, I have not beat the NFC East Conference. Don't know why. It was tough as hell. I forgot who was on the teams at the time, but it was tough. And the NBA Streets, it was just the salt and pepper, the shake and bake, and all this other stuff. It was street ball at its highest level on a video game platform. They came out with another street basketball, but it wasn't nothing like NBA Streets, because you couldn't play as Michael Jordan on, that other knockoff game. But yeah, that's it. The Street Series of the NBA and NFL, ESPN 2K5, great football game. It was cheap, but it was a great one. ESPN National Hockey Night, NHL 1995, and WWE No Mercy. Yep. And before we get up out of here and get the question for next week's Choice of the Voices, shout out to Aiden, Sean Connors, Corey, Mike Davis, Rodney Bellamy, Martin Tracy, Uncle Max, Frank Glidden, the big boss man Bruce Diamond, terrible Pete Talansky, Joel Turner, Bobby Williams, Damon Benko, Big Sean Massengill, and Trey Dizzle for their participation in this week's Choices of the Voices. Scotty D, I'm out of breath. What's the question? Choices of the Voices.
Well, it's going to be hard to top this week because this was a lot of people went down memory lane pulling out the old video games. But we are going to go back into real sports and ask, name one of or your very favorite sports tradition. Let's do it this way. Give us one that's personal, something like maybe you and your friends when you were younger played the turkey bowl, backyard game for Thanksgiving, or maybe you and some friends take a spring training trip every year, or just maybe getting together with the boys having wings on Sunday at overtime. That could be a good tradition. Give us one of your personal traditions, as well as, sorry about the overtime reference, as well as like an organized tradition, like Iowa does the Kinnick Wave, or mint juleps on Kentucky Derby, or the Masters. Pretty much everything in the Masters is tradition. You get the dinner, the green jacket, the hole-in-one contest, all that stuff. The old guys tee off on the first hole. There's an endless list of traditions in sports. So give us one of your personal ones, something that you guys like to do, and give us one that is part of organized sports, pro, college, whatever. And that should give us a little something to talk about next week, Mr. Eddie Cool.
A little bit of meat on the bone, if you will. And once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for joining us for another edition of the Choices of the Voices.
Golden tea, baby.
Yep, golden tea. Just breaking stuff. Go ahead, be live.
Side note, I may or may not have won the Heisman quite a few times. Creative player in NCAA college football. I've won plenty of Heismans and national championships because I made sure that I mainly played as a wide receiver. Not even gonna lie to you, and so I broke all the records. EA Sports, it's in the game.
Yeah, and like I said, I've won like 9 different heavyweight titles in 10 different years. The Hands of Stone title 5-6 years in a row. Of course, you soup up your stats. Let's see, when I was on NFL 2K5, I had like 5 straight years as a receiving tight end of 1,000 yards. And what was the last one? I won a couple Hart trophies and about 4 or 5 Stanley Cups, but man.
Well, I won a couple beers playing Golden Tee. So there.
Hey, couple beers playing Golden Tee. Nothing wrong with that. All right, enough of our shameless gloating. See you next week for the choices of the voices.